So this is David update. Police make huge discovery about Celeste Rivas' body, and this is from TMZ.
That logic is not a big part of this case because a lot of it doesn't make sense.
I feel like logic doesn't make sense, and I feel like logic doesn't add up to what this life has become. And there's no logic at all within people and within just with pretty much anything in
in terms
general.
of everything
It's like it doesn't
that
exist.
happened. I want to talk about the mystery still in this David investigation. We broke the story yesterday that David is viewed as a suspect in the death of Celeste Rivas. Um, the big mystery centers around something that we have now confirmed absolutely as true, that the LAPD has some tracking information where they claim that David took this mysterious trip to a very remote area of Santa Barbara County in the middle of the night in the spring of 2025. Now, that is months before the body was discovered in Los Angeles in a trunk. I don't think it's hard to connect the dots. And he stayed there, by the way, for several hours. So I don't think it's hard to connect the dots that one of the things they seem to be looking at is whether Celeste was killed then and he buried the body there or left the body there in some way. If he did that, then the question would be, why would somebody, whether it would be him or somebody else, remove the body from Santa Barbara County, which is 100 miles away from LA, and bring it to Los Angeles, and then put it and leave it in a trunk on a well-traveled street, only to be found after the car was abandoned? That's the part that doesn't make sense. And
Yeah,
I
that makes
think
sense.
that's, at least what I'm hearing, that's something the LAPD is really looking at. But I believe they have a theory. I don't know what it is, but based on our information, they have some theory about if the body was buried in Santa Barbara County or left in Santa Barbara County in some remote area, um, how it came back to Los Angeles. And that may also explain why we are told the LAPD believes that David would have had help. And now I don't know whether that help would be taking the body from Santa Barbara back to LA. I don't know. But that to me is the logical way of connecting the dots. Now, I'm also told that logic is not a big part of this case because a lot of it doesn't make sense just in terms of everything that happened. But based on this Santa Barbara trip, it seems that the LAPD's operative theory is that Celeste was killed in the spring of 2025. The body not discovered until around September of that year, of this year. Now, the other thing that's interesting is there has not been.
You know what doesn't align with what I'm about to say? There were missing reports. It could be false information, I don't know. But I've already been watching several videos going through this case being talked about. And what doesn't align and make sense to me is that is that there were reports of her going missing. And then so far as like the stories I've heard, that it seems like she went missing from the reports of of her parents, of her disappearing in 2024, and this was around April, but I'm hearing different dates. So it's like something's not aligning, something's false about this case because I'm hearing different dates of her going missing. And then based on her age. So did she go missing this year or did she go missing last year? And what age predicament was she in? Like what age was she during this time?
A formal cause of death determined by the medical examiner, nor has the LAPD received the toxicology report. So they can't say that this is a homicide and David is a suspect because they can't definitively say now that it's a homicide. Their operating theory, we know, is that it is a homicide, but the coroner, the medical examiner, has not said that yet, nor has the medical examiner delivered toxicology to LAPD. What I'm told is the relationship between the medical examiner's office and the LAPD is not the greatest because now we're 2.5 months in since the body was discovered, and still the LAPD doesn't know A, cause of death, B, what the toxicology shows. And what I'm told is this kind of underscores not a great relationship where the medical examiner is particularly cooperative with the LAPD. 2.5 months isn't unusual for and I hate to use the term, run-of-the-mill homicide case, but this is a very high-profile homicide case, and a lot of times that can be accelerated. It doesn't seem to be accelerated here. So there is no formal determination of cause of death. There is no toxicology report. There is no formal label of suspect because you can't call somebody a suspect until you know that it's a homicide. But again, we can tell you that investigators in robbery homicide are viewing this as a homicide and they are viewing David as the suspect. But again, we are told they believe he had help. So Santa Barbara.
I mean, it seems like he did have help. I mean, within this whole case, that's what I've been assuming this whole time. He has had help. But then I'm also having theories of like, what if somebody just put that in his trunk and left it there? But there's no way. It's a Tesla. It was in a Tesla. Yet again, I don't know what's aligning in that case. Just so far as like what I've been like hearing and listening to. But there's some information. It's just like there's a lot of it, and it just needs to be put together. You know, piece to the puzzle.